turn the fan off, really, shouldn't I?
I don't know. Maybe.
Volume, sound.
Volume. Let's make it warmer. Get it all that warmth.
Yeah, that's better.
That's much better, isn't it? Oh. Wasn't that bad outside?
No, it's the heat just collects in this room. It's a very well-insulated house. Great in the winter. Rest of the time.
And you're not a fan of the cold, so it's a good
No.
prio.
No socks today. Too
hot.
Too hot.
He's living it large. No socks, but I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up. I was just going to let it play, but
I can't wear it for very long. Just we got burnt. Well, we got burnt by the sun, but I got irresponsibly burnt by the sun because I never thought about it.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know if I wised up, but I think you're just fairer than I am.
It's true, but then I think you were wearing sunscreen
On my face, nowhere else.
No, not on your head.
No,
just the face.
Yeah,
yeah. I just burnt like a We did creative stuff. It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was.
It was also at what cost? The cost is this £8 hat from George. No, yeah. Well, it's just I don't care, but very dry scalp and skin's falling off.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, maybe I'll be polite and wear it off. And then I think there's also, this is kind of part of why I think I like to mock other things, is because it's not built for me, this hat.
No.
There's no other hats either. This was the only hat of the 10 they had.
This was the only one that fit. A baseball cap, just a regular, inoffensive baseball cap.
They didn't have any, actually, baseball, because I was looking. But the rest were like, this hat's like extra large. It's like, you're not extra large. Or I'm extra large. This doesn't work for me. So,
it doesn't not suit you, though.
It doesn't fit. It only just fits after much stretching. Fan of hats.
It's like I'm on like a lifelong journey for hats that suit me, because there's very few.
You got that blue one?
Beanies, fine. Crap in the summer, can't do it. Too hot.
Yeah.
But a baseball cap, just about, if it's the right type, which is annoying. Those trucker ones, the flat.
Trucker. Okay.
Stupid, don't work.
Don't work.
Well, I mean, they work for some people. For me, they just give you a really wide head. It's odd.
And that's bad. Don't have a wide head in this day and age.
Yeah.
Get accused.
Don't want to add width. Reducing. Bad body image and all that.
Yeah, got to get like a really scrawny head.
Yeah.
That's the way forward.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Really see your cheekbones.
Yeah, sod the hat. Can't be asked. Just a talking point.
Yeah.
A talking point.
Yeah. Now you're dialed in.
Oh, God.
The headphones on.
Yeah, it's probably a mistake, but it's probably going to be fine. But yeah, it's warm. It's warm.
It is that season again.
Yeah, well, I was looking at it, like our heat wave episode where we actually melted was 4 weeks ago in a year. Yeah. And that's when it's like pouring down with rain. And we were like, where's the heat coming from? Oh, it's probably going to be a much colder year.
Yeah, that was, you were in a Hawaiian shirt, right?
Yeah, my bastard shirt.
Your bastard shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shirt I wear to let everybody know that I'm a bastard.
Yeah, and now you've got a hat to match.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm moving up in the world of bastards.
Well, now you have to wear less to make the same point.
Get a tank top underneath the bastard shirt, maybe. I think cargo shorts are meant to be bastard stuff, but they're just part of my attire.
I know. People shit on cargo shorts. It's just, I like pockets.
Yeah, I just have a lot of medication because God is trying to kill me and I'd like to stay alive, please.
Well, I mean, in some respect, maybe, yes, God is trying to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
In other respect, you're not really helping yourself.
No, sure. I'm definitely going down that quarry. The quarry of death. Yeah. Yeah, but hey ho, it's just part of life. But I think that as a genuine point, I think the fact that most hats don't fit me is part of why I'm a bastard. Yeah. Like, I think there's so many things where it's like the average people are average because they had no struggle, right? They just this is the music I listen to because it's on the radio and this is what music is. Yeah. And we were just like, that music does not speak to us in any way. We see it sounds terrible, so then we branched out and done other stuff. I did the same, but with hats and serial killing and all that lovely stuff. You just kind of, then you just sort of branch out and then, just going in. I went into I had to get my car fixed because it was fucked. Like, apparently the coils broke.
The starter coil?
No idea. The car was driving like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Oh. So I think it was the coils in the front suspension. That's as little as I know. Okay,
fair enough.
But I took it to a guy and he was like, well, coils are fucked.
How many cars could you have bought with what you paid them to fix it this time?
Not as many. Not as many, but like I was looking at being responsible and getting another car, but like.
I mean, you've got a responsible car.
Well, that's the problem, is my car is one of the best cars of the past 10 years, apparently, in terms of efficiency. Like, you get 60 miles to the gallon, and apparently all new cars get, like, 40. And I'm just like, I don't understand trading in this car for a worse car that's newer.
Well, what you are creating an experiment of sorts where the most reliable thing in the world meets the least reliable thing in the world. Just to see what happens.
I'd say I'm reliable. Irresponsible.
Irresponsible.
Yeah, so it's definitely a dinged up, fucked up car, and it doesn't work in 3 out of 4 of the seasons. But I can kind of get around it by like hot wiring it or whatever.
And walking.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's just nice. But yeah, I was looking at, but the only new car I could get would have to be an electric car. And I found electric cars. I think there's one electric car that I like because, again, size is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, the reason I got this car was because I went from motorbikes and I was like, I need room.
Yeah, you don't need headroom on a bike.
Yeah, so I was like, I need room for me and both for me and me in the back.
Yeah.
So I can have the seat all the way back and I can sit in the back.
Yeah.
And there's just cars just aren't designed for that. But I found potentially one car, a Kia. I think you've driven Kias in the past.
Yeah.
There's like an electric Kia, which is only, £37,000.
Christ.
But
Get a Tesla for that.
but apparently not.
Oh.
No, like in the 70s, 80s or something. Something crazy. But and again, it's a whole thing, but it's just, I can't justify. It's the same. My boiler's been condemned, right? So it's been turned off indefinitely because it's a danger to society or something. So I need to get a new boiler. But I use the boiler maybe 2 months a year.
Yeah.
I just don't, because everything else is electric. So it's like, I just don't need this, let alone pay. I think the quote I was given was like $4,000. It's like $4,000 for all the installation and flushing the system and all that shit.
For hot water, isn't it? Like you use.
Yeah, but even then, like I've got an electric shower. So they were only talking about hot water for when you wash your hands.
Right.
And it's like, I don't give a fuck about that. I've been, if I need to wash something up in the sink, I've just boiled a kettle. I've been like, this is cheaper than £4,000. But it's just for those 2 months where it's cold. And it's like, well, yeah, I can maybe work around that, but then got a dog and then long term, the house needs to be updated.
Well, it's just if you ever sell as well, it'll need to be done.
So it's just like, I'd rather just get by with what I've got. But I think it's inevitable that, I have to do the boiler thing. And then it's like, my car's going to get to a point where it's like, I just can't have this car anymore. So just do it. But one of the problems with the electric stuff is because it's still relatively new. Like, there's not that many used, reliable electric cars or anything like that, and there's still like prices are quite high. There's probably going to be government schemes that are going to come in to incentivize people to go electric more. So it's like I just wait more and then get something later on down the line. But coils in the car. I didn't know there was that many coils. I didn't know that if you bent your coils, your car would go all lopsided all the time. It sounded like a sinking ship. That's how I described it. To the mechanic.
Sounded like a sinking ship.
As you're driving, because I think it was fucked anyway. And then I went through like a school district, and they had those weird speed bumps that only go in the middle.
Oh yeah,
and that's where it was bent. So like the bottom of the car was very close to the road.
Okay,
so it went through one of those and like completely fucked it. It was like as I was driving around. It's like, all right, I should probably get this looked at. So, coil broke or coil bent. Couple of coils.
It's great.
Why not?
I need a car talk button.
Yeah, a vroom.
Car talk.
Yeah, for Formula One. Look how aerodynamic we are.
Yeah.
I'll go round in a circle. Each their own. You know what I mean? Each their own. But yeah, never really got. I mean, it's like American football, I guess. Formula One, where there's like brief moments of brilliance where it's like a very tight overtaking and stuff like that. But the majority of it is just moving the ball down the field and then moving it back again.
Yeah.
So most of it is just going round the course. You're like, oh,
yeah,
it's good. But then there's a few moments of brilliance, I guess. Yeah, car talk.
Car talk.
Bit of car talk. Let's mix it up. We were creative. We did shit.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be properly acknowledged.
It does. When is this?
I think when this comes out, it will have been out.
Right.
Like,
okay.
I think so. We did a thing. We did a couple of things, especially for Father's Day. I think Father's Day is like the 20th. Yeah, the 20th.
Sunday.
And we'll probably release it a little bit before then.
Oh yeah, they're both Father's Day themed.
Yeah.
I didn't realise the other one. Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this is brainstorm Father's Day ideas, and those were the ideas that popped into my head. Panic and casual existentialism. Existentialism, something like that. But yeah, so there might be some stuff up. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I think we both had a kind of a feeling of like, we're thoroughly unprepared for this. And it was like, it had kind of like, we're just doing it because we said we're going to do it. We don't want to back out. Same reason with the podcast, just not.
Same reason we do everything.
Pretty much, just like, what if I'm not going to be the one to cancel, and you're not going to be the one to cancel? So I guess we're doing this then.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. It's very hot.
Yeah.
But
I think we got once we got into a rhythm, like sort of an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
To what was a 6-7 hour day. Maybe longer.
Yeah, well, part of that was editing as well, which wasn't thought about before. But like we had extra time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like both things I think were written within 20 minutes in total. That's how unprepared it was.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is a thing that could maybe be recorded.
Yeah.
And then we kind of improv'd the blocking of it most of it all the way through.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I think as well as it being
learned our lines on the day. Classic.
Yeah. And then even then, not really.
Not really. Yeah.
But the way that we figured it out was like, oh yeah, it kind of works. And then loads of little things kind of came together, I think. Could have been better. I think we can still do much better. But I think in terms of like, we weren't doing anything. We were reluctant. It did feel like the first roll of the boulder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of like, we're kind of reluctant to do it, kind of like, meh. And then it was like, now that it's going, it's like, oh yeah, it's that whole thing of, this is what we enjoy doing. This is what we want to do.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we put these blocks up, and you go, "There's no reason why these exist.
Yeah.
It's just there because of whatever." So getting that ball running was pretty good. And then the one that's edited at the moment, like I don't know how you describe it, pregnancy.
Yeah.
I guess the pregnancy. Short. Is it a short?
Yeah.
It's pretty short.
It's very short.
It's like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Like, I came away from that thinking, and like we've been reviewing it and that as been going along, and there's loads of moments where I'm like, it would have been cool to do this shot as well, and then to have another aspect of it, and not in a way of let's go back and hold back recording of it. You go like, no, that's just how it is for next time. That's the lack of preparation.
Yeah.
And then going into the next project is like, oh no, there's loads more stuff we could do. Try and do more with it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think even just, I don't know. And we're biased because obviously we get our humor and we enjoy our humor, but it's been like 5 days it's been close to a week. And like, I'm still watching it and I'm still finding it funny. Like the beats are still there and it still works, which it's good. Like usually I get sick of my own shit pretty quickly. But the actual quality of it as well, considering how quickly we threw that one together.
Yeah.
Like the actual quality of it, I think came together really well.
Yeah, I think my only critique is literally like there's probably too much fridge. We could have done other things in there,
and it was just because we
story.
didn't shoot more.
Yeah,
bits.
it's because it was very unprepared. It was like, these are the basic beats. Let's film it. Have some play with the filming of it. Okay, cool. That works.
We did have the responsibility to shoot an entirely different bit and be like, actually, that whole thing just doesn't really. Doesn't really work.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I would rather have
more fridge.
I would rather have too much fridge.
Yeah.
And less crowbar.
Than the crowbar that wasn't referenced at any other further point.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like, in terms of if we were to sit down and do it again, I think we would do it exactly the same, but with more. Yeah. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we wouldn't have shot in this bit.
No.
We wouldn't have done this. I'd reshoot that acting bit. It's like, it's whatever.
But I think by doing something, by doing anything, we've gotten over the initial thing of like, which is like, we actually have something to improve upon now.
Yeah.
Rather than just trying to get it perfect. It's like, well, the time for that's gone.
Yeah.
We've got something to work on now.
Yeah. I think it's as well as
baseline.
There's limitations as well that we realised through the writing process of like we were like getting together for an hour a week to chat about writing.
Well, we ended up using all of your stuff, and for once it wasn't because I didn't write anything. It's because I got halfway through that week and I was just like, this is just going to take too much.
The logistics of it, yeah. But again, that's the good thing about that is like, well, that's not a case of like, well, then that's thrown away. You'd be like, no, it's still a thing.
Something to work on.
And it's something that, if it's going to need more prep, it can be a longer term project.
Yeah.
I think that's just be the same thing with a bunch of stuff that's come across. It's getting into the habit of writing regularly and having a deadline to be like, even if it's just for, well, we're going to shoot and record this version of whatever we've done. You know, and then we find out new things as we go through it, and then maybe there's a version 2 that comes out later on when you've had more time to think about it or something.
Yeah.
Like, say next year rolls along and we want to do another Father's Day thing, we can have stuff that's similar / inspired by the stuff that we've already done.
Yeah.
And so it was good. It was productive. Felt productive, which is 5 years in the making. That 90 seconds.
We've been talking about doing something.
Yeah.
Anything. We did the Christmas adverts, but it was just a Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's easy enough to do, and it didn't take that much time. So it's like manageable is what it felt like in terms of doing it. So yeah, it feels like this should be much more down the line, which is good. And then regroup and restart again next week for us in real life to start writing and figuring out stuff to do next. But yeah, good acknowledgement, positive affirmations.
Yes,
we made a Father's Day thing with a fridge and a sledgehammer. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Anything you took away from it?
Beyond anything that we've just talked about?
Yeah.
No, not really.
No, that's fine. That's fair. This is episode 245. We're on social media. We're at Pulling Teeth Podcast on Facebook and at Pulling Teeth Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Intro. Did you get around to watching Bo Burnham?
No, not yet.
No. I've started to see what you meant about lots of people reviewing it. This is like after the fact. But like you watch people's reviews of it, and I don't know what it is, whether it's just like a fan, probably just fans being fans and wanting to chip in what they liked about it and stuff like that. But there's been like loads of that stuff, so I wouldn't recommend watching any of that.
No, I've avoided it all.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure if I summed up rightly, but yeah, it's basically, it highlights what we tried to highlight, which is you can make a full-scale production with stuff you've got in your house. Like, admittedly, you need to get equipment, and maybe the more money you spend on equipment, the better equipment you have, you'll be able to get some better qualities and stuff like that. But that doesn't know what distinguishes it as good stuff.
Actual baseline for entry is lower than it's ever been. As far as equipment and everything like that goes. You can do it on your phone. You get like if you have like if you're like, I don't have a camera, but you have like an iPhone 12. It's got one of the there's professionals that use that fucking camera for action shots. Like there's the barrier for entry is just bottomed out.
Yeah.
If you've got something to make, you can make it with very little money.
And it's like, he's basically a musical production, so like he's got more demand on lighting and stuff like that. Yeah. And he just comes up with creative ways to do it himself. Like some people go like, oh, you need a drone or like a rig for this. He's like, no, I'm just going to like hold a light.
Yeah.
It'll kind of work. You're like, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
And then the showing of the editing and then the narrative of the story is all stuff that's just done by yourself.
Well, the big thing that I find is it's the same sort of the same issue that we've had from time to time, where actually I don't think we've had it as a pair, but I've definitely had it myself in the past where I've obsessed over the stuff that I need to make something without actually thinking about what I'm trying to make.
Right.
So like
you can't do this until you get a better camera.
That whole shtick. Yeah, and in the meantime, I haven't like devised any kind of content.
Yeah, but that's the biggest thing I liked about the show, about the Netflix special from Bo Burnham, is like, it's that aspect we like of, you can just do it yourself. You don't need a crew, you don't need any of this. You're just like, if you can, so long as you're happy with experimenting and writing around what you know and what you're capable of doing, then you can just do it and it'll be fine. So yeah, still recommend. Still good.
That's
not been recording.
It's not rolling. It
not
beeped.
Rolling. Must have beeped. The batteries died?
We heard it beep.
I didn't hear it beep, to be fair, I had a hat on.
Oh, I heard it beep.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know how much we lost there. You maybe listened to horrific camera audio for a while.
Yeah, from 3 different cameras, potentially. Did you see the technical difficulties clip I did last week? No, it was a small girl crying in a house fire. We'll be right back. Just come up with different things. Another one of those things where you're like, why? Why? It's just me. It's a little bit of me. Please hold. We're burning this woman in order to... Burning this little girl trying to get the feedback for you. So we'll get it running. Bo Burnham, recommend it. If anything, this is proof that you can do it all on your own without any complications. I mean, we haven't got any audio, but it's fine. It's a podcast, right? Podcasts don't need audio. That's all good. Yeah. So productive.
Yeah.
Productive, good.
Yeah,
And then,
it's been good.
still editing. Yeah.
Editing.
And
I
start writing
time
again.
to get that other one done. For when do we need that by? We need it out by
Same.
Father's Day.
Yeah, so like next week, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, how are you, Steve?
I'm okay. Not much to report. Just shit tons of work this week. I had a shoot on a golf course, which is completely new to me.
Were you under par?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. Did you... It's like there's a par for each hole, I think, in terms of you need to win this hole by 4 strokes or less.
Okay.
So the par is 4.
Right.
And then you get like, something like that. I don't know.
I've no idea.
It's a weird sport.
I didn't see... I mean, the people there that I met that played golf seemed all right. I always assumed they wouldn't be my crowd, but I think it's just people are people, I guess.
Yeah. It's quite a relaxed sport, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of
yeah. There'll be twats everywhere, really, won't there? But most of them seem pretty chill. But we were playing... We were shooting on this one hole to demonstrate this bit of equipment for something.
Was the equipment the hole?
No.
We got great holes.
Yeah. But we were playing amongst everyone else's game, and the people that were shooting for our hole, the hole that we were shooting on, were like a quarter of a mile away. And if we didn't spot them, we suddenly started
Getting attacked.
getting hit by balls. Yeah. And it's like, well, I would assume that they'd see us. Because they can see what they're aiming at, right?
Sometimes. I think there is a thing in golf where it's like, beyond that forest is the hole. So like you're meant to like, if the hole's there, you're meant to hit it over there and then over there. So maybe they just went, fuck it.
It never really struck me as a dangerous sport.
But I think people die.
But I was,
If you get hit in the head with a golf ball, I think it's fatal in some situations.
It was just, you'd kind of spot people in a distance and then go and have to hide behind a tree for like 10 minutes until they'd hit their things and then come down and just putted it in and fucked off again. And it just kept happening. It just seemed dangerous, but I had significantly low regard for my own health. More so worried about my camera. Yeah. It's like, this is worth $5,000. You could die. Yeah, but
but it would ruin my life.
Yeah.
But like, you'd expect them if it was like on a hole, you feel like they could probably put that hole, spare hole somewhere else.
Yeah.
Shoot it on there.
Yeah, but we weren't paying anything to shoot there, so I suppose. Yeah. But
broke in, started filming holes.
Well, they knew the guy apparently.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine with it.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, but first experience of being on a golf course.
Yeah, we used to. I think I've been on a golf course. I've never really played golf, but like there was like a golf course near us that like, there's like events. We've been to a wedding that was on a golf course. And like there's bits there, but in terms of getting on the green and stuff, never really did. Going crazy golf.
Yeah, which is more my speed, really. It's not golf if there's no windmills.
Yeah. Or slides.
Yeah.
Slide. That'd be good.
Yeah,
shooting on golf courses and getting attacked by golf balls.
Yeah.
Dogs. Golf balls. What's next?
Wasps.
Something
small.
Something more manageable. Well, we got another load of notes. I guess, because I wasn't sure if we had any clips, but I think technically this does feel like.
Oh. Been a while. Feel good stories.
Good old feel good stories. But then again, a lot of my articles, I think, tend to fall into this category of like, it's not a good thing. Yeah.
They feel good to you.
A man has been detained indefinitely for the brutal killing of a hotel receptionist after she smiled at him the wrong way. It's the wrong way.
How are you still
Just
here?
a wrong smile. Well, it does get quite interesting because, like, there's a society at the moment. Society has become a lot more sympathetic towards people with mental disorders and psychotic disorders.
Yeah,
and there is definitely a place for that. But I can just imagine being a member or related to the receptionist here and being like, "What are you talking about? Fuck that guy." Stephen Cole, 32, attacked Marta Elena Vento, a 27-year-old Spanish national who was working as a receptionist at the Travel Lodge in Bournemouth, Dorset. Cole, who suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, pleaded guilty to manslaughter by reason of diminished responsibility. Again, I'm sure that's a thing, but it's a weird type of wording to the family of the victim. Oh no, diminished responsibility. Yeah. On Tuesday, the court heard him defend. On Tuesday, the court ordered him to be detained without limit. Tom Wright, prosecuting, said she had been brutally beaten and had injuries consistent with the repeated punching and kicking captured by the CCTV footage. So they're like, well, here's the footage of him brutally kicking and beating her to death. And if you look at the body, she's been brutally beaten and kicked to death. All right, mate. Jeez. He added the defendant did have a pair of hair clippers in his hand as he carried out the attack in which she suffered multiple head injuries. So he was also giving her a haircut, but like aggressively stabbing her in the head, I'm assuming.
When does it start to feel good?
Well, kind of here. Cole was arrested after he then walked into Bournemouth police station. So he turned himself in straight after. He was like, rats, made a mistake. and told the desk staff, I've just killed someone in the hotel. Over there. I think she worked there.
So he could have potentially just killed anybody that smiled at him.
Yeah, well, he didn't know that she was a receptionist. It was just somebody there who smiled at him in the wrong way. And so she had to die. He also added, I haven't had any sleep.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Gray, defending, told the court that Cole had stopped taking his medication at the time of the attack because it was unavailable for the defendant to get. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, right?
Right.
He's got a psychotic disorder where I'm assuming this is like a hearing voices, and I can totally sympathize with that. I'm assuming like he's not a norm. He's not able to, he's going to have a different interpretation of the world and needs to look after himself further and have a good support network to help him, right? And he didn't have it. He said he knew he needed it, his medication, but ran into difficulties when he tried to get it. He did try, but it's not easy. There was like hurdles in the way. I'm assuming because of like COVID or whatever was going on. There's no doubt that he suffers from a very serious illness. And you go like, yeah, like I understand that, but that it feels like that's more applicable to the kind of more casual crimes as opposed to murder. Like if you've murdered someone and you're like, I had trouble getting my medication, they're like, who gives a shit? No.
Yeah.
Like there is a place for that and there is sympathy for that. And it does need to be understood. But I can just imagine being a member of the victim's family and being like, it wasn't easy for him to get his medication. So instead of getting his medication the hard way, he murdered my daughter, wife, or whatever.
The thing is, it's like,
jeez. Feel good stories.
Yeah, I guess it's if a bear kills somebody, we go, well, yeah, of course, it's a bear, but we still shoot the bear.
Well, yeah, but it's slightly different. I mean, bears struggle to get antipsychotic medication as well. Like there is certainly a difference, and it is certainly something that needs to be not necessarily normalized, but it needs to be. People need to be aware that it's not. It's different to murder if you're having a psychotic break.
Well, it's like a crime of passion is another thing as well. It's not the same as that, but there are not exceptions, but things that get treated differently.
Yeah, because of the emotional state of the person involved. And I can understand that. And there's definitely a parallel there about they had a psychotic break or they haven't taken the medication they require to manage the, I don't know how you call it, symptoms. Symptom is murder. But he's had a hair clippers. What was he going to do? He's all over the place. But it just felt weird that they were so supportive. The last statement is, she told the defendant how this young woman who had all of her life ahead of her came to be in your path on that fateful morning is a combination of circumstance and an irreversible failure by some to spot the signs of your psychiatric deterioration, despite you and your father trying to obtain the antipsychotic medication you so desperately needed. It's like, I get that that's kind of, again, and it is an accurate surmise of the situation, but it's being very sensitive towards the manslaughterer, if you don't want to call it murder, because it wasn't premeditated.
Yeah.
But it's like you're taking that person's feelings into account a lot when you wouldn't for somebody who maybe did it in a crime of passion. I think, it's a weird grey area, but I found it weird that he was like, oh, don't offend the murderer. It's got to think about it from his point of view. And go, yeah, sure, but it's weird. It's fine. It's good. It's progressive. But it's also like, I'd just killed a guy. If it was my niece, my wife, my daughter, whatever, he'd be like, that's very well. I respect your attitude towards progressiveness, Judge, but I'm going to murder him now, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's okay. I forgot my medication at home.
Yeah.
So we could be cool with this.
Yeah. I'm going to drown this guy in the fish tank in the lobby. Oh, no. Where's my Benadryl?
Yeah, exactly. I forgot my Benadryl. In other feel-good stories, this is kind of a feel-good stories, but also fills me with hate. The world's oldest snowball has just turned 45. Go fuck yourself. What are you celebrating this for? A ball of ice.
Is it just... It just kept in someone's freezer somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Keep that in the freezer. Handed it down through generations.
For fuck's sake. Do they live in constant dread of a power failure?
Well, probably that's what I was thinking, is that it must have just deteriorated at some point.
Or maybe they've got a generator.
Emergency snowball protection generator. 15-year-old Jeff Seamus created the snowball in 1976 in California. Snowfall was so rare in the Santa Clara Valley that Seamus's mother saved her son's creation in the freezer and cherished it for more than 40 years until she died. Now the snowball has been passed back to Jeff, who in turn now protects and preserves the frozen artifact. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I mean, there's shit tons of this just up north.
It's just
like tons.
It's not like a meteorite. It's like this happens every year, everywhere in the world.
Well, it's like
in some degree.
It's like those things. Did you see that chicken nugget this week that's sold for $100,000?
No,
because it looked like one of the characters from what the fuck was it? What's that? What's that game everyone's obsessed with the little guys in space killing each other?
Guys in space?
Sort of backstabbing each other. It's like
in space?
Yeah, they're running a spaceship. It's
Among Us.
Yes,
there you go. Yeah,
it looked like a chicken nugget. It looked like one of the guys from Among Us.
$100,000.
It sold for $100,000 on eBay.
$100,000 or a grand?
$100,000.
Fair enough. Well, it's in like memes. Not really.
Fair enough.
But like you've seen memes have started selling for millions of pounds.
Oh, because like the NFT thing.
Yeah.
I'm not pretending to even understand or care.
I think it's just the original image or the rights to the meme of some kind. And people are just buying them. It's like idiots are buying them. Fair enough.
Yeah. For obscene amounts of money.
Yeah, like millions, $500,000. I think it was the lowest.
Yeah.
I saw, and it's just like the original meme photo of like a girl smiling while her house burns, while a house is burning in front of her.
Some guy didn't the guy that runs Twitter sell his first tweet?
Maybe.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want that?
Art.
It's not
really.
though.
Not really.
It's not.
No. It's just... So there's certain people in the world who just want to collect shit. They just want to have stuff.
I want a chicken nugget that looks like this guy's first tweet.
Well, did you watch The Last Dance? The Michael Jordan
oh, no.
docuseries. It's really good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know anything about basketball. I've watched it a few times, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's just somewhat inspirational and it's just interesting.
Just
it's
a
good.
guy who's at the top of his game, and I think you can draw something from that no matter who it is.
Yeah, and just his mental capability. But like one of the things he says about gambling is he doesn't care about how much the money is. He just needs to know that I've got your money in my pocket.
Right.
Like he'll bet you $10, he'll bet you $10 million. He's like, no, I don't care. Just I want your money, and I want you to know that I've got your money in my pocket. I can imagine there's just someone out there who's like, I want that person who thinks he's got the best Among Us chicken nugget in the world. I've got it. I've got it. I'm not even taking good care of it.
No. It's in my freezer next to my snowball.
Yeah, 45, my middle-aged snowball. Yeah, that's probably an aspect of it. People just want to own shit.
Yeah.
Just want to brag.
I mean, you get to a point, well, some people get to a point where it's just like, you've just got too much money.
Or just like, it's just value. I never really understood money spent on clothes. Like, it's designer. It's like, yeah, but is it waterproof? Yeah. Well, then that's fine then. I get my clothes at Mountain Warehouse. It's just practical clothes.
I think all of that shit, all the buying into brand stuff, it's very much buying into like a tribe. You're part of a group of
But it's like, but it's the same thing of like, you just want people to know that your jacket costs £10,000.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's a big deal how much something costs.
Yeah, chicken nuggets or suits. Yeah. Anyway, software developer Jeff moved to Sparks, Nevada after the death of his mother and took the snowball with him, carefully packing it in dry ice for the long journey. So he surrounded it by other snowballs. He added, I'm sure this is the oldest snowball in the world. My mum would take it out maybe every 5 years. The fuck is... Oh, it's the snowball. Do you remember? Yeah, I guess we'll just keep it. Put it back. Or maybe they treasured it with love. I don't know. But honestly, it mostly just sat in the back of our freezer. Over the years, it's grown ice crystals and doesn't even really look like a snowball anymore. It looks more like a snow blob. Oh,
well, that's great. Great.
No, we all look good when we're young. And then slowly over time, when you get to your mid-40s, everything starts to loosen up. Jeff says he plans on passing the snowball down to his children and sees no reason why the unusual heirloom can't stay in the family for many generations to come.
How about yeah, maybe your kids just need food.
But I'm not one for clutter. I mean, I know that it accumulates and stuff like that. But here's your dad's snowball he made when he was 14 or whatever. You're like, great. I just have to keep this in a freezer now forever. Cheers. Yeah. I'll donate it to a museum.
Yeah.
Look at this snowball. It's made of snow. Wow. But again, each their own. It's family traditions. It's always good. Put milk in your pot noodles. Pass that recipe down. Give your snowballs to your kids. Yeah. Maybe you'll leave the world better than when you entered it.
Wear socks in the summer.
Yeah, why not? With shoes that the back of them collapsed. Freak people out. In other news, police in Texas have arrested a mother after she allegedly tried to shoot her neighbor's dog, but the bullet ricocheted into her son's stomach.
I mean, not to be harsh.
That's pretty great.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Like the kid's fine. Right. It still would have been funny if he died.
Yeah.
But the kid's fine. I think it's good to print that out to make it a bit lighter. But she fired, she started trying to shoot her neighbor's dog. Apparently this is somewhat tied into the article tries to tie into what we discussed last week about Texas is having like a no requirement to have a gun license to have a gun concealed on you. Okay. So they try and tie it in with, if everyone can have a pistol and there's no training, then it's like, that's still quite bad. Yeah. And again, I think if you just gave everybody a gun, people would shoot things that maybe they wouldn't if they didn't have a gun, obviously. Yeah. But you'd escalate it a bit too much. If you were outside and there's pigeons, if we were recording outside and there was birds, if you just could fire around into the air and it cleared all the bird song for about 10 minutes, you'd be like, I'd probably do that.
I mean, yeah, the thing is, I just don't understand this argument, really. Like, I've never really cared one way or the other about guns. If it's legal in your country, do what you want, go nuts. But, I've got plenty of axes. I've never been like, I've got loads of axes, I should go and chop something's fucking head off then, right?
That requires effort. That's the thing.
Really?
I do think that, because I think it's very, very, very easy to shoot
So things. You think... So a gun is more an impulsive thing.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why suicide
allows you to act on impulse.
Yeah, I think suicide by gun is so much more frequent because it's so fleeting. Like you just go, I'm thinking I'm going to commit suicide, bang. Whereas you're like, I've got to get pills, I've got to get this, I've got to take the pills. It's going to take a while for it to process. Trying to aim an axe at your own neck. It's going to struggle with it.
Yeah.
It's so
Gotta
easy
make
to
the
do.
noose.
And it's so there is a feeling of power, I guess, from a gun. I mean, I've fired guns. I don't know whether I ever felt powerful. I was certainly surprised at how easy an assault rifle is to aim. It was like, wow, I could kill everybody with this. like you go, like, it's so ridiculously easy to aim an assault rifle.
Yeah,
it's bananas. Like with pistols and that, it was like, oh, I could see how you would need, to train and practice and get used to the gun and get used to the distance and all that stuff. Yeah. But with the rifle, it was like, nope, that hit that. It's within the body very easily. Very weird. But I think there's a feeling of, there's a definite escalation to wielding a gun and then to be able to just let loose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just don't understand. It's the same with cars. Like, if you're angry and you get in your car to go somewhere, you're amped up and it kind of escalates very quickly. Whereas if you're going to walk there, you might have cooled off by the time you got in there. Yeah. But you need to pass a test in order to drive a car properly. And that makes sense. You'd be like, well, you want to get there safely, you want to get there securely, and you don't want to hurt anybody unintentionally on the way to your way to intentionally hurting somebody. Makes sense. So I don't know. Yeah, the only thing I don't understand about this thing is they don't say specifically what training you need to have a gun, but in order to have a free gun carry concealed weapon, I think I'll get into it, but I think it's a concealed weapon or just the right to have a gun. You don't need any training whatsoever, and you go, like, for everybody's benefit, train people how to use these things.
Yeah. I think it should be. I mean, it's difficult to kind of get through the ingrained "we have a right to get a gun" thing that they've got in the States, but I think with the purchase of a weapon, if it's your first one, which they'll know because it's on record, there should be mandatory training, even if it's free.
Yeah, well, you want your militia armed. You want them to know what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So even in the interest of whatever amendment it was, you want them to be effective with the firearm that you're giving them, right? So give them training. There's no negative to it whatsoever, apart from making them a potentially more lethal killing machine.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have that, because then you can address that problem than loads of stupid people shooting dogs and hitting their kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. The child, age 5, is stable. According to Houston Police Department.
Got hit in the stomach, not the leg.
Yeah, it's the slowest way to die, I think. Hitting the stomach.
I heard it's very difficult to actually sort of recover from that, because it's your stomach. There's like oozing shit all over the place. Yeah,
but like, so long as you're at a doctor's place, because it's so slow.
Like into a muscle or something.
Maybe, but then there's muscle in your stomach, right? So like, maybe depending on the caliber of the bullet or whatever. But yeah, the child's fine according to Houston Police Department's Major Assaults and Family Violence Division. Oh, if I was going to be a policeman, I'd like to be in the Family Violence Division. That sounds good. His mother, Angela Mia Vargas, 24, was indicted on a charge of deadly conduct with a firearm. The incident was at 2:15 in the afternoon. She was attempting to aim at a dog across the road, say the authorities, and shot at it 3 times.
Why?
Well, it was off the lead.
So she was worried about the safety of her child?
Maybe, but they were across the road.
Right.
So like, I don't think the dog was going across the road.
Oh, okay.
It was like in the front yard.
Oh, so she's just a fucking idiot then.
Yeah, well, I think it was more a case of, I keep on telling that neighbour to keep her dog on the leash.
Right,
and now the dog's off the leash.
I keep on telling this guy not to park in front of my driveway. I'll just go fucking shoot him.
I asked them to mow my lawn yesterday. They still haven't. I'm setting fire to their house. It's the same deal. Because she discharged a firearm over a public road and near 2 other homes, she was taken into police custody. The dog owner was given a citation for not having the pet on the leash. There was also children riding bikes in the neighborhood as well. So it's like, just don't fire a gun, please.
Yeah.
The victim, the owner of the dog, said, I came out of my house because Bruno, the dog, was barking and barking. I'm assuming it's the dog. I thought my brother was coming, she said, the dog's owner. So I opened the door just a little bit and he came running out. They also spoke about their emotional turmoil witnessing the event, which is basically a mother shooting her son in the stomach. Or shooting at your dog and the dog like high-fiving it into the kid's stomach or whatever. Ricocheted back, I guess. She said she has dreams hearing the little boy crying and it wakes her up when she's trying to sleep.
Yeah, well, you caused that.
Well, no, this is the dog owner. The dog
oh.
owner's like traumatized by. I mean, anyone would be traumatized if you saw a kid get shot and crying out in pain.
Yeah.
So she's having a deal with that. She said, she wishes that Miss Vargas could have just used words instead of a gun. It makes sense. Currently people in Texas require a license to carry a handgun on their person. To get a license, people need to go through to have edited a bit of this out. So I think this is currently, and then what the plans are going to be. You need to go to currently you need to go through up to 6 hours of training and be tested on knowledge. And you have to provide personal details such as fingerprints and go through a background check. And the new bill removes that requirement. So
all of it?
I believe so. It's
I'm pretty sure they'll still require a background check.
I think that's the controversy of the bill.
Right.
Is that it's your Second Amendment right to have a gun. Look into it more. You'll find it weird that like you're basically saying this gun event happened, and by the way, there's a gun bill being passed, and you go like, I don't know if the two are related, especially if it hasn't passed yet or hasn't enacted yet. Or whatever. So there would be something interesting to look at because you would have to go. Everyone needs to buy. You can't. There must be an age limit. You can't. A baby can't come in and buy a gun. You know what I mean? There's going to be some restrictions. It's just how loose they are. In other news, US troops accidentally raided a sunflower oil factory in Bulgaria. Whoops. No, I can understand this after reading through it. Because it's like, there was a raid training exercise.
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with the UN, NATO. It was a NATO military exercise. I think NATO's different to the UN, I think, isn't it? It's not, NATO is some kind of global military, but I don't know how it relates to the UN.
I don't know.
But the US Army led a multinational exercise held across Estonia, Bulgaria, and Romania involving more than 7,000 paratroopers from 10 different countries. During the drill, members of the Italy-based 173rd Airborne simulated seizing and securing the decommissioned Chesnegirovo Air Base in southern Bulgaria by clearing bunkers and other structures. On the 11th of May, American soldiers entered and cleared a building next to the airfield that they thought was part of the training area, but turned out to be just some guy's sunflower oil factory. So it's like they're practicing, raiding and, liberating an airport or an airfield, military airfield.
Yeah.
And there's just a big building next to it that's like Sunflower Co. And they just didn't see it. And there was people working in there. Then suddenly, like, the door gets kicked in. Like, hostiles. I think they specifically mentioned that no weapons were fired. So, but it would have been funny if a couple of flashbangs with trying to sieve sunflower oil.
I don't know how that process works.
Turned out to be occupied by Bulgarian civilians or operating a private business. Got raided by the American army. The Bulgarian president, Rumen Radev, said it was absolutely unacceptable to have the life and calm of Bulgarian citizens put at risk by the military.
We're very, very sorry.
I mean, like, it's an interesting story to tell of a workplace. I had a friend who called in sick to, this was like when I had teens, called in sick to work and hung out with me for the day. And he worked in a supermarket and he called in sick. And that day there was like an armed robbery of the shop he was working at. And we were both like, oh, it sucks. Would have been great to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would have been like, oh, it'd have been an interesting thing to do. I mean, if you're filming at your golf course, the odd golf ball comes in and then Apache helicopters come in.
Are they illegal golf balls?
Free footage, I guess. So yeah, I can understand why they accidentally, because he just clearing building by building, and he's going to the next building, and it's just a load of people working a normal day.
Yeah.
Getting freaked out. I mean, if you had, being stormed, because it would have to be being stormed. It wouldn't be like wandered in as you're practicing to raid.
Yeah.
People like doing front flips and shit like that. You're just like, what? Guns? Jesus Christ. Oh, what melted? Something melted. We're melting, I think.
Right.
Heat's melting.
Yeah. I've got the yawns. That's hot.
Right. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
But speaking of melting, do you like the beach?
I like it when no one's there.
Yeah. I didn't know about this, but apparently it happened, and I guess it makes sense.
The beach has melted.
A small boy's foot melted on the sand.
What? Like the sand was really hot?
Yeah, so it's not really a punchline to this. It's just interesting. So, like, he was there with his family.
Stories.
Yeah, he was there with his family, and his family had a barbecue, like a disposable barbecue,
Right,
on the sand to cook some sausages or whatever.
Yeah.
And the heat was going to heat the sand below it.
Yeah.
And it was trapped because of the foil, so it just got hotter and hotter and hotter.
Okay, yeah.
So they took it off. Moving it or whatever and cooling it off, but the sand was so hot.
There.
Like, and we're not talking about melting like his bones melted, but like as soon as he touched it, the skin's melted off, and he's had to have like thigh skin. It's like,
and on your foot, that's the worst.
But you don't think about it. You're like, I've ran on sand. We've had fires on sand. You never think, you never. I guess the difference is, like, because we've had fire that's on legs, so at least the heat could dissipate and it would be hot. Those foil things that are just pressed into the sand, like, I guess. And then I guess I don't have a natural reaction to move it straight away. I'd soak it with water. Yeah. But I think they're moving it and it's just there and it's so hot.
Yeah.
It's glass, isn't it? So I guess it's a magnifying glass on sand. It just makes it harder. A young boy's foot melted like wax after he stepped on hot sand where a disposable beach barbecue had been. 9-year-old Will Taylor was left unable to walk and in need of skin grafts. He had been visiting the beach with parents.
I'd rather be shot. I'd rather be the boy that was shot than the one whose foot melted.
I'd rather be like, why is my mum shooting that dog? Why have I been shot? Rather than a melted foot. Yeah, for sure. There's that fit. There's so much trust you put in your footing. Yeah. To forever, for the rest of your life, be like, is my foot going to melt? Yeah. You'd be like, oh.
Well, have you ever walked into a glass door?
Yeah.
And then if I walk up to a porch now, one of those big sliding things.
Yeah, you tend to second guess.
I have a bit of hesitancy before I walk through it.
I never mind. I got a nosebleed, I think, from one of them. I never minded nosebleeds.
No. I used to get them tons when I was a kid. Yeah. Loads. Don't know why.
Yeah. No, I never. I only got them when I smashed my face into things. But I had a friend who had loads of nosebleeds. Yeah. I guess it's just like a blood thing or a nasal structure thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows? Despite moving the barbecue to cool down after the meal, the sand where it previously sat was really hot. But a year on, so maybe this is a year ago, I guess, Will is fundraising for Royal Manchester Children's Hospital where he continues to be treated. The parents say the kids were running around playing and then suddenly Will just screamed. Yeah. As a parent, it's the worst sound I'd ever heard and it's a sound I'll never forget. Oh. I can relate to that. That makes sense. He pulled his foot out of the sand and his skin was peeling off his foot like melted wax. A weird self-brag here, but by the time I carried him to the car, I was soaking wet with sweat. I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but seeing Will's foot, I guess the adrenaline kicked in. It's not about you.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's not about you.
I don't care.
Yeah, but I carried him to the car. Like, okay.
Good. You're his dad.
You meant to. Do you want a cookie?
That's your job.
Yeah, I found it weird. There was a
weird...
Well,
I mean, no. Let's
don't burn your kid's foot like wax.
Your job is to not burn your kid's foot off.
It's pretty intense. Accidents are unavoidable. It's just it's so mental.
Loads of kids have got like horror stories, not from like parents' negligence. It's just kids hurt themselves.
I think just life. Like I said a few times, like this, it's so unlikely for you to die, but it's so likely that you're going to nearly die. If I look back on my life, there's so many situations, but I should have died there.
Yeah,
so
many. Been blinded, they're just horrific accidents that I've just very narrowly avoided.
Yeah. But then to feel good about the story, the kid, Will, I think his name was, has fun with it. He calls it his bacon because that's what it looks like. Do you want to see my bacon? It's just a deformed
foot. That's legend. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it's good. But they don't know what the future holds, whether as he gets older and the foot gets bigger and the bacon gets smaller, he may need more operations or whatever.
Christ.
But yeah, kids will be kids. Oh, it's rough. Did you hear about the Bonnie and Clyde rampage by the...
No.
I think this is quite big, or maybe it's getting a bit bigger. Again, I've been trying to play around with more punchline headlines.
Yeah.
But I just can't. There's so much in this. I can't. A boy. I actually wrote this. Yeah. But no, this is the headline from the article. Boy, 12, accused of firing on police with an AK-47 in Florida. Bonnie and Clyde rampage makes his first court appearance. So kids, he's 12, and another one's 14.
Yeah.
14-year-old girl just broke into a house, found a bunch of guns, and had an Alamo-style face-off with the police.
Yeah, why not?
I was hoping for Lego.
Yeah.
But I found a pump-action shotgun.
Yeah.
So mental. 14-year-old Nicole Jackson and 12-year-old Travis O'Brien ran away from Florida United Methodist Children's Home, a foster home, and broke into a residence around 7:30. So, a foster home. So that means that they weren't in like an orphanage. They were with a family at the time, like a temporary family. I think that's how that fostering works, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you foster for a long period of time and then you adopt, but sometimes it's just you foster to look after kids. And I think there is a history of somewhat stereotypical bad housing. That people are doing it for the money, or, you know, they're not well equipped to be parents, or the kids
It's also kids don't respond well from being passed around from parent to parent, and it's not the foster's fault for that.
Yeah.
For that. It's just...
I'd say there's a number of different things. I can understand why it's somewhat understandable why they would try and break out and commit a crime just to get out the house and release some energy, and broke into a house, and then they just found guns, and then it escalated. The homeowner and his 3 daughters were out of the house at the time getting groceries. But people in the neighborhood alerted the police about potential break-in. In that time, Travis O'Brien and Nicole Jackson found several guns in the home, including a shotgun, an AK-47 rifle. When deputies arrived on the scene to investigate the break-in, they were fired upon by the children.
Wow.
After attempting to communicate with them.
I mean, that's a good way to get shot very quickly.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're kids.
Oh, no,
You can't be firing guns out of a house, and
you can't be shooting people.
Yeah.
So it's like, they would have to be neutralized.
I would imagine the guy that owns the house that they broke into will likely be fucked in some way, because he should have had a gun safe, right?
Yeah, well, multiple things. There you go. I would assume the kids don't know how to properly load a weapon. So I'm assuming there was already clips and shells in the rifles.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a big no-no. As well as the gun safe, is you're meant to keep them unloaded.
Yeah.
But, the 14-year-old came out the garage with a pump-action shotgun, leveled it at deputies, and despite warnings to drop it, she walked back into the garage. She came back out a second time, and that's when deputies opened fire after taking multiple rounds. So the kid just came out of the garage with a shotgun pointed at police officers that stood there, like, dropped the gun, and was firing at the police. And the police just had to shoot her. Which, again, kind of makes sense. He added that deputies took fire for about 30 minutes from 4 different locations around the home. So I think they're trying to make the point they tried to give every possible chance for the kids to disarm themselves. If they're fired at on 4 separate occasions, then at different parts of the house, that for 30 minutes, you're like, please don't shoot us from the garage, okay? Please don't shoot us from the bathroom, okay? Please don't shoot us from over here. And then it just escalates. The 14-year-old was shot twice by deputies in the chest and arm. She remains in hospital in critical condition. Travis, who was armed with an AK-47, dropped his weapon after the other child was shot.
That's the thing. Like,
Fuck this.
It's like child soldiers and that. It's like it's just. It's kind of not real to them.
Sure. But I feel like it would get real.
I know they're not playing, but like it's...
But I think
they don't understand the
reality
of it.
You'd realise after you fired.
Well, he realised after his friend was shot.
Yeah, but like firing a shotgun is like, has a kick to it.
That's
where you'd be like, oh, this isn't a water pistol.
If you've never done it before and you're an adult, like, I think it would come as a... Like, you suddenly understand, like, you're holding something incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Like, but for a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, like, maybe it could be depending on the cartridge that was used in it or whatever, but it would still explode. You'd still have a
AK-47. It doesn't matter what cartridges you put in that, really, I don't think.
Well, no, with that one, I liken that to the assault rifle. Like, that was surprisingly comfortable to use.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh my God, like I fired a Magnum. It was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
But like with
cannon.
the rifle and that, you're like, oh, it's a bit more, you're more holding it differently and it's not a huge caliber weapon.
Yeah.
But like the shotgun, like maybe it was birdshot or something and it was like pop.
Yeah.
But you go like, you'd still get the kick and you'd be like, I'm shooting this at people, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need to, this escalates. It gets a little bit weird, but I think he was like the representative of the police, like the head of the police or whatever, said, I could not be prouder of the way my deputies acted. I get it. I get what you're saying is that you held off, you tried your best, but you had to shoot that kid. But like, you could be prouder if they took them in peacefully, I guess. They went above and beyond for what they did. And also, I know tonight I'll drop down on my hands and knees and pray that I'm not going to somebody's home, one of my deputies' homes, and telling them that they were killed in a line of duty and killed by a 12-year-old or 14-year-old. That's unbelievable. Didn't make any sense, that.
No.
So he's going to drop down on his hands and knees and pray that he's not going to go to somebody's house, one of his deputies' houses, and tell them, the deputy, that they've been killed by a 12-year-old. Do you know you've been killed by a 12-year-old? I get what he's trying to say. Is he doesn't want to come, none of his men and women were killed, so he didn't have to break the news that to their families they were killed by a 12-year-old. Assuming that's what they were saying. Prior to the shootout, the children took baseball bats to bathtubs, toilets and furniture inside the home. Estimated $100,000 in damage. So they were just going out to be vandals.
Yeah.
You can relate to that. Like, I don't think I really did much of it as a kid, but most kids get out, they're frustrated, they go out and do it, smash the place up. Mr. Chitwood, who is the police person, described the children as Bonnie and Clyde, pair who were evil based on their alleged actions on Tuesday. Those kids were evil. Could just be fucked up kids. Their conversation, I don't think he speaks English. Their conversation was they were going to kill my sergeant. They were coming out to kill cops. They were coming out to kill deputies. That's the conversation. So maybe he's saying like they were talking and the kids were replying, we're going to kill everyone.
That's what I get from that.
Maybe, or they overheard, the kids going to kill us. Something like that. Anyway, let's have a think about, this is a quick fire one. I don't know how many I've got in here, but this one is found quite funny. A domestic argument broke out in America and a guy shot his girlfriend or wife. Yeah,
What
a
is
troubled
happening?
marriage. People just let it loose. Well, the problem is, if a snowball survives to 45 years, that's a sign of the apocalypse.
You just keep people locked inside for so long, they're not used to seeing other people anymore.
Well, this
Or
is
dogs.
So, like, a married couple got in an argument, and the husband shot the wife.
Right.
The wife went to hospital.
Fully understand that.
Yeah, complained.
Sure.
Right, so the government took his firearm off of him.
Oh, come on. What about his rights?
What about? He's second American militia.
No, he was American.
He's proven he can hit something. That's better than some. Police took her husband's pistol away. 9 months later, the police gave it back. So he shot her again and killed her. You go like, he shot his wife and you're just giving it back? Yeah, but he's calmed down now. Yeah, he has, but... Now he's got a gun.
Did he ever go to prison for shooting his wife?
I don't think so.
Because, I guess it's up to her to charge him, right?
Yeah, I guess so. There is mentioning of a restraining order. So maybe it wasn't prison. It was like, get me out of this abusive gunshot relationship.
I'd still be like, and arrest him, please.
Yeah. Well, the mother is quoted as saying, the mother of the victim is saying, so the restraining order can prohibit him from contacting, phoning, texting, harassing and stalking my daughter. But, by the way, you can have your gun back. Oh. That's ridiculous, said her mother. It's like, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, if you've got a restraining order...
it doesn't matter if you got a restraining order. You can shoot someone from 500 yards away.
Yeah, like the plane that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima was pretty far from Hiroshima when they dropped it. Like, I get it's such a weird one because you go, it's so obvious to us in our culture to be like, don't give stalkers weapons.
Yeah,
don't give them guns, even if they had one in the past. But like,
even
no,
if
you can't have a gun.
Really, really good this year.
It's my right. Yeah, but it's also their right not to get shot by their stalker, right? Like,
it was your right the first time. It was your right before you shot somebody. Like, prisoners don't get a vote. You don't get a gun.
Yeah, it's so simple. There's a whole thing about I think Amy Schumer brought it up ages ago, where blind people could have guns. And you just go like, blind people can have guns. They're right, sure, but blind people...
Yeah.
Like that, and that goes, I think the argument in the defense was you can be legally blind while still being able to see enough to operate a gun.
Yeah.
But still, like that means that includes the fully blind. And you go, I get that you should have the right to, but in the interest of your safety and everyone else's, don't give a blind person a gun. Just don't do it. Doesn't make sense.
Is there anything more dangerous? Like, that's chaos, right?
Yeah.
Particularly if they're pretty trigger happy.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I think blind people do have their own version of vision where they can sense a room.
Yeah.
But like a gun is a big responsibility, and I don't know whether it's... And I can see situations where you may want a gun as a blind person in certain situations. But as a general rule, no.
Yeah.
In this example of the husband shooting his wife after getting his phone back, even the shooter's lawyer was shocked when he got his weapon back.
Really? You?
I just love that. Like, he sat in chatting with the judge, like, what?
No, don't send him to prison. Don't.
It's like he shot the victim, right? Yeah, but he can have his gun back.
Objection, objection, Your Honour.
You're winning though. No, I don't want to win. The lawyer has said,
I'm next.
He shoots the ones he's closest to. The lawyer said, in my opinion, it was irrational, illogical, and not prudent to do so. He emphasised he was not...
That's so stupid. That's not prudent. That's such an understatement.
Yeah, he says he's not excusing his client's actions. Spina said that without the firearm, I don't think what happened that night would have happened that night. Lawyer talk. Maybe what happened might not have happened.
If he didn't have a gun, he wouldn't have shot somebody.
Well,
I mean, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of probability involved there.
Yeah.
Can't shoot someone without having something to shoot someone
Technically, if he had a crossbow, could have still shot somebody.
with. Yeah, if he had a shot put, technically, I guess he could have shot
somebody. Yeah.
But
Slowly.
yeah, it's just such a
But
weird...
not from such a distance with such accuracy.
I mean, that somewhat leads into this next article, which is like, what would you call... there's a lot of generalizations going on, but like people who are, let's say they believe the vaccination is a hoax. What's the terminology for that type of person? That's, I guess, is it anarchy? Because it's the government that's telling people the vaccination is safe.
I don't think they're anarchists. I think anarchy
Rebellious.
Yeah, it's
Conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy theorist. Belgium's Van Ranst, who is a COVID scientist, is being hunted by a far-right sniper. So, like, to summarize,
like Last Action Hero,
kind of,
except he's Arnie.
Struggling to find. He wasn't a scientist in Last Action Hero.
No, he wasn't. But he was being hunted by a sniper.
Was he?
Specifically a sniper with a glass eye.
Oh, he had a bullseye with his thing, but he wasn't like a sniper. He was just an English guy.
Oh, I thought he had a good aim.
He might have done. Yeah,
that was his deal.
But yeah, so
film.
He's basically excellent film. But yeah, he's based this Belgium's Van Ranst. I've never heard of him, but apparently he's like on telly all the time in Belgium, telling people to take the vaccine. He's like a media personality and scientist.
Well, maybe
who's advocating the use of science.
Maybe get off the telly because he knows where you are.
Well, this is why he's hunting him.
Right.
Is like he's now no longer on the telly because
good.
he's being hunted by a sniper.
Yeah.
But like that's why they've targeted him, is because like he's the face of the bastards who are trying to give us COVID vaccinations or whatever.
Is he a sniper from there, or is this a sniper that's travelled overseas to find this guy?
He's going on a gap year. No, yeah, he's from Belgium. While scientists around the world have come under fire throughout the pandemic, the threat to Professor Mark Van Ranst is a bit more serious than most. He's been targeted by a far-right rogue soldier, Jürgen Konings. who has a vendetta for virologists in COVID lockdowns.
That is an action movie villain name, right?
Jürgen Koenings. The military shooting instructor went on the run with a rocket launcher and a machine gun.
And very subtle. That's not prudent, that.
Gonna snipe you with a rocket.
There's not much skill in that, pal.
Jürgen Koenings. The ex-soldier, heavily armed, was on my street for 3 hours, right in front of my house, waiting for me to arrive home from work. The night police say Jürgen Koenings left his barracks with a selection of heavy weapons and headed straight for the virologist's home. Like, if you lose your mind and he's a public figure, I'm sure you could find out where they were. Mark Van Ranst usually returns home from work around the time the man was waiting for him, but on that day he got home early and was already inside with his family. So the guy was, I believe the guy's been confirmed to be outside his house at the time he was meant to be getting home, and he just got home. Traffic was light.
Yeah.
So he just got home and he's fine. Unfortunately, he's a trained sniper with heavy armor, military-grade material, and weapons. So these are the kind of people that you'd prefer not to have hunting you, he said.
I mean, I'd prefer not to have anybody hunting me, really.
But of all the people, do you want the guy outside with a rocket launcher, a machine gun, and a sniper trainer?
I mean, I'd rather the guy that's going to make it quick, I suppose, if I'm going to be hunted.
Well, I like this. Belgian authorities have described Jürgen Koenings as a very dangerous man who wants to use violence. He'll look for any reason. He's really violent. He loves it. He wants to be violent.
We've got a wall of people here who are very violent, but they don't like it.
They prefer not to. You know, it's kind of like they've got a violence intolerance, but every now and then they indulge.
Yeah,
this guy fucking loves it. He was already on a terrorist watch list in Belgium because of his extreme right-wing political beliefs when he disappeared from his barracks. A note that he left no doubt that virologists were his target. His note read, "The so-called political elite and now also the virologists decide how you and I should live. They sow hatred and frustration. I can't live with these lies. Give me my rocket launcher. I'm out of it."
Is his barracks what he calls his house?
Yeah, it's his front garden. It's just a little trench he's dug.
He left his barracks. Yeah. What he calls his barracks.
But people are sympathetic. You know, people obviously feel for the guy. In the days that followed Jürgen Koenings' disappearance, a support group was created for the ex-soldier on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, he's having a bad time. Let's all show our support to the rocket launcher machine gun wielding maniac who's ambushing science. Before being closed down, it had attracted nearly 50,000 members. It's this group that worries Professor Van Ranst more than the assailant. There's a guy outside with rockets outside my house, but there's also 50,000 people out there that agree with what this guy's doing.
But that said, you and me would join that group. Thing.
Yeah, you'd be like, what's going on?
100%.
This guy, got to follow. What's going on? Oh, he's had a hard day, but how's the rocket launcher? Good. Excellent.
Yes.
Always good to keep. If you don't have your equipment, he's going to be stressful. Right?
Yeah.
Keep on hunting
Posting
this guy.
selfies of us in our barracks.
He says, these are real people who really think this man is a hero and that I deserve to die. They are people living in my neighbourhood who wage bets on exactly when and with how many bullets he will murder me. God. Oh, God. Because he's locked indoors.
Yeah.
He's in a safe house. He's locked indoors. I'm assuming it probably makes sense that a virologist would have a safe house in his house, I guess. But he's like...
Because he's that scared of viruses.
Or that people will target him. Like, if you work for the government in that kind of way, like maybe he's worked with chemical weapons in some way. So he's got like extra security. But like he's online looking for help and he sees his Facebook group, like 50-1, he gets killed with 100 bullets and a rocket. He'd be like, my kid's here. Don't know what to do. When asked if he has a message for the man who's hunting him, his answer is blunt. No. The quote is fully, I have nothing to say to him. Why would I want to have a conversation with a person that hates me and wants to kill me? It's a fair point. Listen, mate, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Like, I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not making you take the vaccine. I'm just saying it's good.
Yeah.
Why do you want to kill me and my family? Seems like an intense situation. Another quickfire thing. When a crocodile grabbed her sister, there was only one option for Georgia Laurie. She punched it in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I saw this because it was just like, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you could beat an alligator or a crocodile or whatever.
Oh,
and
sure.
what's more impressive is that, I mean, you can, if you want to tell the whole story, I don't.
No.
Yeah. What's more impressive is that she punched it until it let go while they were underwater. They were in its element.
They were in its house.
Yeah.
It's my house. But I could understand. I do think still punches are less aggressive underwater.
Yeah.
As we've said before, I can't remember if you remember, but bullets can't travel through water. So if you're being shot at in a swimming pool, you're fine.
Are you?
Pretty much. They did it on Mythbusters.
Oh, right.
They just fired a gun at one of the guys underwater. And it let's say it traveled, say this is the breach of the water, it probably went that far down. And that was it.
Wow.
Because it's just so much resistance. There's
Just a lot
no
of
resistance in the air.
Yeah.
And then there's all the resistance. Because isn't it, there's a weird fact I learned on Taskmaster, that the human body weighs as much as the water it contains. So if I wanted to measure the weight of your head, I would just get the volume of your head in water and it would weigh that much.
Oh, right.
It's like something like that. There's yeah. And so I imagine that by going through all that water, you're going through bodies if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
So it's not going to go on forever. It's pretty dense water. But yeah, so I think when you punch, it's going to punch not as aggressively, but if you're close enough to the surface, it could work.
But it's also what I was saying about the alligator and the crocodile and stuff. It's like, if you're if you're like, I could take out a lion, firstly, no, you can't. Secondly, there's teeth, there's claws, there's feet, there's so much frenzy in that. With an alligator, it's got the mouth, and if its mouth is full, it's got fucking nothing.
Yeah, there is you can hold it closed with an elastic band.
Yeah, there is that.
All the powers in the down.
Yeah. But apparently it came back for him. It came back for her 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time just keep punching it in the face.
Yeah, there was a specific quote that I quite liked. She dragged her back as the crocodile kept coming back for more, so she just started hitting it. She heard that with some animals, that's what you got to do in terms of punching it in the face. Thank goodness she's had that training. She said her adrenaline kicked in and she knew what to do. That training of punching them in the face.
Yeah, no, I read that. It was just that's not training. Yeah, she didn't read that somewhere and be I know. It's instinct, right?
Yeah, well, I think...
I was the thing.
I was trying to think, maybe they're talking about scuba training, because I think there was scuba diving or something like that.
What, they said hit it in the face?
And they were the breath control or something like that. As she was underwater, maybe she didn't panic as much and held on to her breath. But I don't think so. I think they really are talking about punching it in the face.
Yeah.
I've been training for this all my life.
Yeah.
Just punch it in the face. Yeah, so again, I would argue that this is probably closest to a fight that we'll have without a boxing ring.
Yeah.
In terms of you are basically fighting its food, it was defending itself, trying to kill this girl.
Yeah, and it wasn't a fight to the death, but it was a fight to the fuck off.
Yeah, and it would have been motivated to stand its ground, and because it was hungry, it must have been, in order to kill, to try and eat somebody, but
it wasn't. I don't think it was life or death for the.
If she was on her own,
necessarily.
Yeah, that's in the crocodile would have left.
Yeah,
and that makes sense. But if her sister wasn't there, the girl who was in the jaws of the crocodile could have very easily died.
Yeah,
because it just dragged her underwater.
Yeah,
so this would have been the end.
Very impressive.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And lastly, from me, it's a very long article, but it's very simple. Okay. In India, I don't know how the medical system works, but there was a family in there, and an elderly lady in their family had a back injury, and they just paid somebody who claimed to be a doctor to operate surgery on him. So I don't know how it officially works, but they were in a hospital. Someone who used to be a security guard at the hospital came up, and they were like, "You perform surgery?" He's like, "Yeah."
It's like that taxi guy that got interviewed on BBC.
No, apparently he is a con artist, so he obviously intended to.
So he wasn't really a security guard,
or he was, but yeah, he only took that job to get the doctor's coat or whatever.
Right.
But like, they just pay someone and they give you cash in the hospital. Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know. But yeah, he got paid, and he must have been paid in cash, right? Probably. But what I found funny was so he operated, and it was very bad. And he went back to do home visits to dress the wound that he'd and it was still bleeding. So like, he was just like, "It's fine, right? I'll see you next week." Yeah, money, and kept on going. But what I found funny was there was because you can't perform surgery alone.
No.
So there was just nurses in the operating theatre having no idea who this guy is. Being like, pass the scalpel. Sure. This will probably be fine. You're a doctor, right? Oh, yeah. You got a certificate? Oh, I left it at home.
Yeah.
This will be fine.
Did you mean to drop your watch in there?
Yeah, it's just so casual. Like, I'll just get somebody to operate on me.
Yeah.
And I think it makes such a difference. There's,
Nurse, get the Hoover. What?
I mean, the saw. I'm going to have to remove your neck. Yeah. Just operating on anybody, and then but there's that implicit trust when you go to a hospital that the person you're talking to is a doctor.
Yeah.
But like, you just hope that there would be better security. I mean, they have fired the guy. He's no longer a
security guard.
He's been arrested. They've fired some people. They've arrested the former guard, and that another employee was suspended for assisting him in the operating theatre. And it makes sense. It's got to keep it real.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me this week.
Fair enough.
Oh,
okay. A few things. I've got... Oh, if it loads. Hey, there you go. I can't pronounce this guy's name. Louis Gohmert. Louis Gohmert, a state representative of Texas, asked the U.S. Forest Service this week if it was possible for them to counteract climate change by changing the orbit of the moon.
Have you tried rotating the moon? Have you tried just moving it on its x-axis a little bit more? I mean, it feels like the Forest Service is the ones who could probably do this the most, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Forget about trees.
I understand from what's been testified to the Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management, which they've said is like BLM, which is quite confusing.
Right.
That you want very much to work on the issue of climate change. Is there anything that the National Forest Service or BLM can do to change the course of the moon's orbit or the Earth's orbit around the sun?
I'm open to suggestions. I suggest the moon. Maybe you want to move the Earth.
Yeah,
that's
obviously
fine.
That would have profound effects on our climate. And if you figure out a way that the Forest Service can make that change, I'd like to know.
There's another case of just complete idiots being in a room. You're like, I get that you're probably smart at what you do.
You're elected.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're intelligent in what you do because you've been elected, but that's not necessarily the case. But I understand that you know nothing about climate change, let's say. It's not your specialty. But surely just moving the moon feels like a large task.
His response to criticism on Twitter was because people were being like, what you on about BLM? He was just like, well, I obviously didn't mean Black Lives Matter. It's like, but that's... You're asking a forestry service to move the moon.
Or just move the planet, if you wouldn't mind. Just move the Earth a bit more to the right where there's less climate change.
Not a lot. Just a bit.
Just a little bit. Just ease it a little bit. I mean, I'm not asking a lot. It's fine.
If we all jump, right? Yeah. I'm just winging it here, right?
Yeah, like trying to move a bit of furniture that doesn't want to move. I mean, there's been like I saw one about because there's all these elected officials and that. A lot of I still don't understand how there's a politician in charge of the healthcare service. Isn't that a thing? Like, there's a politician who decides what science the medical industry does, and you go like, I'm assuming he's got a medical degree. Oh no, he's got an economics degree. Okay, that feels like a weird setup. I understand vaguely why it would work that way, but it's a weird setup. And so a lot of these elected officials don't really have much knowledge. I saw one. I think they were talking about like either internet security in terms of like restricting content for younger people,
right?
Or that the phenomena that people are on about like, you know, me and my friend were talking about Coca-Cola and then I saw an advert for Coca-Cola the next day.
Oh yeah.
There's like the whole theory that, they're listening all the time.
Listening.
So this senator of something was talking to the head of Google and he was like, why is it that this happens or whatever? And the guy was like, that doesn't happen with our phones. He goes, my daughter was on an iPhone last night.
Yeah.
And she was scrolling through this and it popped up. I mean, how can you explain that? He's like, we're Google. We don't iPhones are a different company. He's like, no, but it's the same thing. It's like, well, can you give me an example of a Google phone doing that, please?
Yeah.
I can't argue against not our company.
Yeah.
So even just elementary shit about like just not understanding the point and just people are upset because of this. I'm going to bring it up. It's like, you think about it a little bit. Don't move the moon.
Yeah. Well, like, it's annoying because some people need to be held to task, like all the people that own all the social media companies and everything. And, like, the people that are questioning them about things have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, you have, like, Zuckerberg going up and the guy being like, how do you have so much money? How does Facebook make money? He's like, we sell ads. Like, and you didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And you're trying to dig through like crazy amounts of like privacy issues and ways that it's swaying elections, and you don't even know anything about their business model.
But the thing for me is you just expect, I mean, I'm assuming those people have got a team.
Yeah.
So you'd assume someone in that team figured out that Facebook made money on ads. So they're like, we make money from ads. Let's prep this. And they're like, no, I'll just win.
Like, it's weird, like you say, it's like we've got in this country, we've got our parliament, and it's like such and such is a health secretary, and this person's an education secretary, and it's like, well, has she ever taught anything?
Yeah.
Has he ever is he a doctor? And what the fuck are they doing? Like,
do more science, more. all right, okay. Do less. Actually, do less. We need less right now, but more tomorrow. Okay,
all right.
The only thing I can imagine is that it's somewhat related to the budget of it all.
Yeah.
We haven't got the budget for this or that. So don't call them the health secretary. They're not associated with health. They're the economics department of the health department, you know?
Yeah.
It's just weird. So it's a weird system. But yeah, it's going to be led with people who have no idea or just not up to date. That's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a thing about, something that's always been funny about Star Trek is because it's like, I think it was like the 90s or something. They said at the Next Generation, I think it was like the 90s. And it's like, you look back at the technology and like Wi-Fi is just not even a thought for these people.
No.
And this is like hundreds of years in the future. So in the 90s, people never had the idea that you could text somebody something and it would just go over the internet. Even though phones existed.
Yeah.
And pages existed. There was no idea of a text.
Imagine if we had this without the wire.
Yeah. Like there's like the Android, which is like, you know, super fast, but it's actually super fast at typing. Yeah. So they were like, Androids are going to type really fast. What? And so that you can understand like people trying to understand things in that main mindset.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly understandable, whether people have kids and they just like they don't pay attention for 10 years and then, I'm back in society. Or they don't deal with social media or think about it. They just don't come up with these ideas. But like the purpose is to prep for this and have a team and think about it before you approach it, right?
Yeah.
Please? Nah, just move. Just move the moon. I mean, just please. We've put a man on it. We can put a silo on it, right? We can put a thruster on it. Just move it to a bit to the left. It'll be fine. Apparently,
I didn't know this. The moon is actually moving anyway. It moves as in it gets an inch further away from the Earth every year.
It's slowly breaking up with us.
It's the guy just very quietly removing his toothbrush and then his flannel and his underwear.
Well, it's like, aren't we hit by meteorites and stuff all the time? Like, I imagine Earth's less.
Things
gets hit by stuff and it's smaller.
Yeah.
So like the moon's probably getting... It's probably like a bit of pong. Every now it gets hit from the left, it moves a bit to the right.
But it means that at some point, let's say 400 million years in the future or whatever, when it's travelled far enough to kind of break free of the orbit, some other planet is going to have a moon coming towards it.
I like the idea that it gets so far away from us that we're now in its orbit and it just comes around and smashes us. But yeah, we're just going to let loose a moon in a couple of 100,000 years, whatever. So
it's it's like curling, just very gentle. There you go.
Yeah, it's just slowly getting closer to the sun. And
Yeah.
will it melt or will it come back? We'll see.
In other news, a woman who went missing in India 11 years ago has been found living next door.
Come on. Just having those neighbourly conversations over the fence, like, my daughter's gone missing. Oh, is she really? Seems odd.
And, like, not kidnapped, living there.
Yeah, just moved next door. I got a really good rental agreement when I was 5, and I just decided to jump on that opportunity and move next door.
An 18-year-old who went missing from Aylor village in Palakkad, butchering that, 11 years ago was found living just 500 metres from her parents' home, spending the past decade in a room with a man that she was in love with. While his parents shared the house with him, they were reportedly unaware of the woman's presence. So, like...
There's come a point where, like, maybe she doesn't want to go home, but, like, they discover her. Like, you're kind of hiding for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get bored. Sajita left home one night in February 2010 and apparently just walks into Raman's house next door. Police looked everywhere but couldn't find her. Sajita didn't have a mobile phone on her. Oh, there you go.
She had boyfriends. Well, we phoned her and there's no response.
Oh, missing.
Just fuck. She's gone. Deal with it.
There's 3 billion people here.
She was 18. She wanted to leave. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Should we check her boyfriend's bedroom? Nah.
No. Their relationship was apparently completely secret because they were of different religions. So it was forbidden for them to be together.
Maybe it makes sense with the hiding and stuff still, I guess.
So he's got 2 rooms at his parents' place, and apparently one of them was always locked, and that was the one that she was in. And his brother was just like, he just freaks out every time I go near this room.
This guy's just, why is this room locked? What are you doing? What's going on? Hey, nothing in that room. Nothing. It's just locked.
Yeah.
I can hear someone in there crying. No.
No, you can't.
Yeah, or just because I can hear someone in there watching Netflix. You've got Netflix in there. No. It's fine. Nothing.
That's why I can hear Modern Family.
Yeah. Watching Deadpool.
Yeah. No, storeroom. That pencils.
Yeah, loads of pencils.
Loads.
I'm going to be a writer.
Loads.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Pencils cry.
Pencils laugh at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Watching telly.
Yeah, but it was apparently completely consensual. Like, it wasn't like against her will. It wasn't like a weird Stockholm syndrome thing or anything.
Yeah.
It was just, it was the arrangement they had because they were so afraid of confronting like their parents about these clashing religions things that she just lived in a room for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of like it could be a good relation. You wouldn't have to do the dishes. You wouldn't have to cook.
Do fuck all.
I'm just going to stay in here.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Get a bit sick of it after a while, though.
Yeah.
If either of you, I go out and work all day, you just fucking sit in here. You told me I can't leave. I know that.
Yeah. Just put a little bit more effort into it. Just move the moon, please.
Yeah.
Love finds a way, I guess.
I'll do this one next. A dog that went missing for several days after being ejected from a car during a crash in Rathdrum, Idaho, has been found a few miles away in a field herding sheep.
I guess I live here now. Yeah. Got to get a job.
It's just
row.
Dogs are just gonna dog, no matter what.
I saw there was a dog found at like the North Pole that like didn't belong to. I think I can't remember what they're called. It was
herding
like
polar bears,
herding ice. But no, there's like I think there's boats specifically designed to break up ice.
Oh yeah.
Like icebreakers
it's
or
called
something.
Like icebreakers, I think.
Yeah, and they were just breaking up ice, and they just saw a dog. And it was like, there's nothing else out here. It's just a dog here. Hey, how's it going? Hey, want to play?
You're back.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate.
I just went over some
mountains,
I guess.
Fish.
Yeah. I had to fetch my own soul, my own shadow, to keep myself occupied with this whole stuff.
Did you know for 6 months of the year, there's just no nighttime? There's no moon. There's nothing to howl at.
I've tried. Yeah, I started some forestry. I tried to move the moon. Tried to figure out how to fix all this climate change shit. There's nothing else to do. I was bored.
Yeah. But lifelong dream, pissed on the North Pole.
Pissed on Santa. Technically, all his gifts are mine.
Finally got that fucker.
Yeah. But yeah, just got to figure stuff out, and then just natural instincts
Dogs
kick
are just
in.
gonna dog. Yeah. Tilly, the 2-year-old border collie, was ejected from the car on Sunday during a crash and fled the scene. No one was seriously hurt, but the police put the public on notice about the missing dog, who was found a few days later on a sheep farm shepherding the flocks. He's apparently just really dehydrated, but just happy as fucking anything.
Yeah, just he had a project.
Yeah.
Step one.
Dogs like a job,
Heard these
man.
dogs. Oh yeah, I heard these sheep do this stuff.
Yeah.
I was watching something about I think it was like Spain or something like that, where there's dogs that are bred within the sheep community to warn, of predators and to like scare off bears and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're just given birth and their whole life happens as if they were a sheep.
Yeah.
I think it's not golden retrievers, but it's somewhat similar to golden retrievers.
Yeah.
And this whole pack of them. And the biggest problem the society has is hikers keep on hiking through the mountains and they see a pack of dogs barking at them and they're like, dogs. And the dogs are just like, they bark a lot and they follow you out of their territory. Like, because they've been raised on that area. They know that this is their territory. So they'll just follow you out. And then watch you for a while. And they do the same with bears. Because like a bear will just be like, bears don't want to fight. They'll just be like, oh, it's loud over there.
I'm not going to fuck with that.
Yeah. And they just do it to, keep foxes and shit away from the sheep and shit. So I can totally understand it's a dog getting a job, filing a P45.
Well, it amazes me that people get like Ridgebacks as like family pets, and they're pretty unassuming looking dogs. You can tell they're big, you can tell they're like kind of strong, but they're just they look pretty friendly and they don't look like a fearsome dog. But they were bred to fight off lions, and it's like people get these things and just have them sitting about. And like they're like, oh, just so much energy. It gets bored and really destructive. It's like, well, why not go buy a lion?
I mean,
do you know what that dog is for?
Yeah, and it's there's genes in there. Like Honey's never harmed anything, but like the only time she's ever ran off is when she saw a sheep. And she like followed that sheep for ages. Yeah. And it's like there's something in a German Shepherd that's like sheep. Yeah. Well, whether it was to hunt or it was like the sheep's loose.
Just curious.
I'm meant to do something here, so I kind of get around and do that. But it didn't harm the sheep.
Get it.
Well, the human beings are the same, right? I mean, there's a lot of genetic personality traits, I think, passed down. Like the classic one is that like babies know to hold their breath when they go underwater. Yeah, it's just ingrained in their DNA. There's like they believe that certain phobias are passed down through the bloodline as well. So like some people who are afraid of snakes have been afraid of snakes since they were a fetus. Right. It's just that data has been passed down to be like, you're being born in a place with snakes. Yeah, fucking hate snakes. If you see a snake, fuck off. And it learns that. It just has that in its brain. So it makes sense. It can be passed down from dog to dog. Yeah. And then dogs specifically were bred for it, right? Like golden retrievers were bred to carry waterfowl. That's why their jaw is the shape that it is.
It's quite soft more like the...
It's built to carry stuff. Yeah. So it's built to carry, I think, pheasants.
But they're not going to like really like damage the bird.
Yeah. That's what they were bred to do. So I can understand why, like, oh, this is bred to whenever it sees a sheep, it does something. Yeah. Bring it out to it. Or just get a job, become self-sufficient, get some solar panels, live off the grid. Yeah. Become a prepper. Yeah. Don't like cars anymore. Yeah. Got ejected from a car once. I'm not going to drive anymore. Yeah. Go on. Go live off the land.
And I'll end on... Yeah, I'll end on this. And it's a new segment, essentially, because we get so fucking many of these stories. Right. It's a boy! Hey, Kevin! It's a boy! gonna be okay, Stanley. Just take Daddy's hand. This is a great day. It's a great day for Tim and Ruth. They're having a boy. They're having a boy.
There are 4 spaces left in the bunker where there will be cake and goodie bags.
Yeah, we do get a lot of these.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of these.
Wildfires erupted near Fort McMurray in Alberta, Canada this week after explosives were used at a gender reveal party.
Just stop.
Wildfires.
Dude, nobody cares about your child.
It was not just the third wildfire, destroying half a hectare of forest.
Yeah.
So people know what gender your kid is.
I mean, I came across one on TikTok.
Right.
Like a gender reveal TikTok. And it was probably the most English gender reveal I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Where it was like a family or whatever. I think they already had a kid. And it was like a married couple next to the road. And they are waiting for, I forget the term, but like the 16-wheeler lorries, but without the cargo and the truck base. So it was just like the front of the truck came by and they were like following it. And it's like, it's going to reveal the gender of the child. Halfway through, the guy could pop his head out and go, it's a girl. Let's carry on driving. But the idea was they were going to release smoke and that was going to let everybody know. So as it drove past the first time, it just let loose a load of grey exhaust smoke. And everyone was like, is it a boy? And then it like went away, came back, and then it used blue smoke. So it like faltered or whatever at the beginning. But it's like, just who cares?
Yeah.
The only reason I can imagine anybody ever only doing it is for social media follows.
Yeah.
Like there's not a single, it's not good for the family. Like it's not good for you. It's not good for the kid. It's not like an excuse to get a get together. You can have a get together and have a picnic with your fucking family.
Yeah.
You don't need to use explosives. You're only doing it so that people go, oh wow, look at that. It looks so cool with the colours.
This one was this was wildfires started by explosive discs. Like,
why not discs? Why not some kind of exploding frisbee?
Well, they're like targets that people shoot and they explode, like that kind of thing.
Right.
But this one would explode in smoke. So it's not enough to have an explosion. You've got to have a dad showing off his fucking marksmanship like beforehand.
Right. I mean, I could get behind it.
I can shoot my baby at 300 yards.
But like, I'm trying to protect myself in the future. I think I could get down with some kind of pipe bomb-esque gender reveal if it caused a mass panic.
Just have a pipe bomb. Why has it got to have anything to do with the kid?
It's just the fallback. Oh, it's for the kid. Like I wanted to, cause people to panic.
Right.
And like evacuate a town.
That's the best way to welcome a child into the world. That's the most
Remember
suitable
Hayley?
way to welcome my child into the world.
Have you met Hayley? Yeah, when she was born, or when she was in the womb, we caused a mass panic that resulted in your parents' surgeon leaving the operating theatre for your mother to die. Hayley, say hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry for killing your family.
Yeah.
Just cause a major
She's
incident.
actually named after you because we thought you said, I've got to get the Hayley out of here.
Isn't it awkward? It must only be for social media follows. There's nothing else.
Yeah,
it's purely just for people to go, aren't they interesting? Another wildfire. Great.
Yeah.
This doesn't inconvenience me at all.
Yeah. But that's the new gender reveal segment. Best of luck making a video for that one.